Is that? No, it is. Let me.
No worries, no worries. It having reached the hour of 5:30, I am calling the September 23rd, 2025 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton.
Here.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Here.
Councilmember Ricky.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Here.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Pastor Devin Martinez from Good Life Church.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's all bow our heads and close our eyes. Heavenly Father, your name is holy. We come to your throne of grace boldly, not by our own strength, but by the blood of the Lamb. We believe that your Spirit is here with us, Father. And because of this, I just ask that you give everyone in here insight and wisdom and vision, and more than anything, peace of mind, Father. Guide us so that everything that is done in here that comes from this place, it is all for the love of your people, but more than anything, Lord, for the love of you and the glory of your will. And I seal this prayer in the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Just a reminder, public comment is 3 minutes, and there's speaker cards at the entrance of the chambers.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? My understanding is Council Member Williams has a conflict for item 10, number 10.
Yes, Mayor. I have a conflict with item number 10 on our consent. I have property downtown. And because of the property downtown, it excludes me from participating on the USL matter. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Will the city attorney report out on closed session, please?
Yes, Mayor. The council met in closed session related to 2 items of anticipated litigation. No reportable action was taken.
All right. Thank you. Next on the agenda is acknowledgments and presentations. And the first one is a proclamation declaring October 5th through 11th as National Fire Prevention Week. I will read the proclamation. The City of Modesto is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all our residents. Fire is a serious public safety concern. Whether fires start at a home or in forests, the devastation can be catastrophic. This Fire Prevention Week, let us remember those who have been lost in catastrophes, be proactive to prevent future fires from occurring, and support our firefighters and first responders. The City of Modesto Fire Department is dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires and fire injuries through prevention and protection education. We also acknowledge and thank our brave firefighters and first responders who put their lives at risk to save others and help our communities during times of crisis. There are a number of ways we can work to prevent fires. The 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, lithium-ion batteries in your home, effectively serves to remind us to safely buy, charge, and recycle lithium-ion batteries to prevent fires. Now, therefore, I, Sue Zwellen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim October 5th through 11th, 2025 as National Fire Prevention Week. I encourage all to heed the important safety message of Fire Prevention Week and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Modesto Fire Department. Accepting our Proclamation will be Fire Marshal Dave Bickle and an extra special guest, Sparky. Here you go.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City staff, and citizens. Thank you for welcoming my special guest, Sparky, who has been around for many, many years to help That's right. To help educate citizens of all ages about the safety that needs to happen in the home and in our communities. So I appreciate that warm welcome to Sparky and for the recognition of NFPA Fire Prevention Week. As you know, lithium-ion batteries are in every part of our world. You probably all have one sitting up there with you in a phone or in a drill. And the dangers that those possess when they become damaged or impaired are grave. And so I appreciate the council recognizing that for us today. And I hope that through education that our citizens would take that seriously and recognize to buy and dispose of lithium-ion batteries appropriately. If I may, I always like to give a bit of trivia, and that is the history of the Fire Prevention Week. So the Fire Prevention Week started by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, in 1922 to commemorate the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. Fire Prevention Week teaches children and adults to stay safe in the event of a fire, and obviously we have expanded that of how to prevent fires in our homes through smoke detectors, extinguishers, and now education of lithium-ion batteries. In 1925, President Calvin Coolidge proclaimed the first National Fire Prevention Week to occur October 4th through the 10th of 1925. The Great Chicago Fire burned October 8th to October 10th, hence why we kind of celebrate during those time frames. With most of the damage done on October 9th, the fire caused roughly $200 million in damages, killing around 300 people and destroying over 17,000 buildings and structures. The fire was said to have started by, anybody want to guess, Mrs. O'Leary's cow that kicked over a lantern in the southwest side of the city. Fortunately, in 1997, the Chicago City Council passed a resolution exonerating Mrs. O'Leary and her cow. Today, the Chicago Fire Department's training academy is located on the site of the O'Leary property where the fire started.
Interesting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for being here this evening, and I will now bring the proclamation down and present it. Thanks for being here. I'll shake your hand. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thanks so much. All right. Or sister, we don't know. All right. So, should we present to Sparky? Sure. Okay. There we go. There you go, Sparky. You got it. That's good. All right. Stay safe. Be careful.
Sparky. Thank you.
Item 2, a proclamation declaring October as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I will read the proclamation. Domestic violence remains a critical public health and safety issue in the United States. Each year, an estimated 10 million people are affected by domestic violence, with 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experiencing severe intimate partner physical violence. It affects people of all races, genders, ages, religions, education, and income levels. Abuse can be physical, sexual, emotional, verbal, psychological, financial, or spiritual in nature, and is often used to exert power and control over another individual. The impact of domestic violence is long-lasting and far-reaching. More than 3 million children are exposed to domestic violence in their homes annually, placing them at increased risk for emotional trauma and intergenerational cycles of abuse. Domestic violence can be prevented through the collective power of individuals, families, institutions, and communities working together. The City of Modesto supports these efforts and joins others across the country in proclaiming that we stand against domestic violence. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2025 Domestic Violence Awareness Month and encourage our residents to honor domestic violence survivors, remember those lost to abuse, raise awareness of its impact, support vital community services, and join in efforts to end domestic violence in Modesto and beyond. Accepting this proclamation will be Barbara Wesley, Board of Directors member for the Haven. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Barbara Wesley, and I'm on the Board of Directors of Haven here in Modesto. With me tonight is Nancy Smith, who is our president of our board, and Harlan Diven, who is another board member. On behalf of Haven, its board, staff, and volunteers, and all those who are connected with us, we thank Mayor Wallen and the Modesto City Council for this proclamation. Haven has been providing services here in the county since the late 70s. Our organization has expanded and changed its name to reflect the expanding population that we serve. Our service includes all survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking, regardless of gender, sexual identity or orientation, financial status, race, ethnicity, culture, religion, or immigration status. We provide 24-hour crisis counseling, peer counseling and support, advocacy, support groups, restraining order assistance, youth programs, housing assistance, and we provide case management, which consists of finding and connecting our clients to any services or resources they need that are available either through our organization or from the many organizations, businesses, and individuals in our community that partner with us in helping these survivors on their journey to safety and healing. Our services are free of charge. We provide services to 3,000 people and education to over 4,000 people in our community annually. As a nonprofit, we receive government funding, but this funding fluctuates and does not cover all of our expenses. We rely on local community support to continue many of our services. We also welcome volunteers. I joined Haven because its mission and goals closely agree with my own: individual empowerment, societal change, advocacy for those impacted by domestic violence, sexual assault, or human trafficking, working toward an environment where people can be themselves and be safe in their home, in their relationships, and in their community. For more information, you can contact us. Our 24-hour crisis line number is 209-577-5980. Our office line is 209-524-4331. And you can always find us on our website by entering Haven and Modesto on the search line. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, are there any comments from the council? And I failed to give that opportunity with item 1 for Fire Prevention Week. So I apologize for that. So if any council members have comments regarding item 1 or item 2, Jeremiah Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if this, can you all hear me out there? It sounds a little muffled. Barbara, it's good to see you again, all the way from Townsend
see you
Opera
too.
players and in the early 2000s and beyond, and see that you're continually doing great work in the community. Thank you for what you're doing, and your colleagues here. Keep up the good work.
All right. Councilmember Escudilla Brayton.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing attention to this very serious issue, this very real issue, this issue that it's surprising may not just impact your neighbor or someone you know, but it impacts us all. So thank you again for bringing attention to it and education to it and for the services you provide our community. Appreciate it.
All right. Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I want to echo Councilmember Escudilla Brayton's comments here. The service you provide this community is incredibly important, and it helps people in their moment of need. You know, and I don't even think we have enough of that kind of service. You know, there's always more demand than what we have. So we're thankful for what you guys are able to do, and you make our community better.
All right. Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, thank you again for all you do for our community. I would just like to acknowledge those who are homeless on our streets and in our parks. So many of the women that we see have domestic violence, and the reason because of domestic violence, they're on the streets. And I know many of us on this council have talked to those people and have heard their stories, and it's heartbreaking. So all you can do and hopefully uplift some of the people that we see on the streets is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. I also want to acknowledge our first responders, as was recognized in item 1, and it is so closely connected to item 2. And my experience in the emergency room was very often first responders would bring victims of domestic violence to the emergency room, or very often they would just arrive on their own. It was that day that they picked to be safe and would show up in the emergency room and report their situation. So it's all very closely connected. But it's very interesting. For decades in the emergency room, our only resource to give support to the women that came in as survivors was to call the Haven. That was our first call, to have someone sit with them, and it was a volunteer that would give hours of their time to come and sit with my patient that had finally had the courage to come forth or were recognized by a first responder or mandated reporter that they needed help. So I really appreciate that, and for all the many, many years of service. And thank you for being here this evening, and I will now bring the proclamation down and present it. Thanks again. Truly appreciate you being here. Next is item 3, a proclamation declaring Saturday, September 27th, 2025 as Lowrider History Day in the City of Modesto. I will read the proclamation. Car culture is at the core of Modesto's identity. One of the many styles that you can find in Modesto is lowriders, which have become a symbol of identity, creativity, and community resilience. Historical influences have played a significant role in shaping the lowrider culture. The Chicano movement of the 1960s and 1970s influenced the development of lowrider aesthetics, emphasizing cultural pride and self-expression through car customization. Through candy paint jobs with glimmering specks of metallics, custom truck and roll velvet upholstery, and bouncing hydraulics, lowriders became more than a vehicle. They became powerful symbols of pride and unity. As the culture expands, it continues to transcend boundaries and generations in Modesto's diverse community. In recognition of the cultural significance of lowriders, the City of Modesto is proud to recognize the fourth Saturday of September 2025 as Lowrider History Day. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, hereby proclaim September 27th, 2025 as Lowrider History Day in the City of Modesto, and encourage all residents to celebrate lowrider culture and its ability to connect people. Accepting the proclamation will be Jerry Thompson, Modesto NorCal Lowrider Alliance, Francisco Morales, Dolores, I got that correct, I guess, Dolores Chacon from the NorCal Lowrider community, and Johnny Garcia, CEO of Stanislaus Latino Chamber of Commerce. Would you like to come forward and make some remarks? Thank you. Welcome, everyone.
Mayor, City Council, we all want to thank you for acknowledging and recognizing the lowrider community from the dedication and hard work that they've contributed back to the community. It's an honor to make this a historical moment because now they're being recognized as an equal to other parts of this community, because we also know that proclamations isn't always given out readily. This is a major accomplishment, I feel, and along with the others, that this has come to fruition. We're very grateful for this. There's a few people that have been involved with this, bringing this all together as a community of all. And I like to bring out their names: Pete Trevano Jr., Louis Fregaro, Alfonso Duarte, Domingo Perez, Angela Morales, Daniel Melgoza, Stephen Varela, Frank Tovar, Betsy Santos, Jorge Camarillo, Esther Corona, and Manuel Rivera. They all have come together to have meetings with you and to also do their part in trying to unify the lowrider and Hispanic community, because it's more than just lowriding, it's a cultural experience and a growth for all to learn and experience too. So thank you.
You're welcome. Any comments from council members tonight? Oh, did you have a comment you wanted?
Just real quick. So just real quick, obviously, I grew up around lowriders. My real father had one. I actually had one that I picked up my wife when I first met her back in the day. But then I kind of grew away from the culture. And so I'm here to represent bringing people together, bridging the gap between Latinos, non-Latinos, lowriders, non-lowriders, government, non-government, and by being a cheerleader for all of you guys out here that have been doing your part to make a difference. But we do want to thank all you guys for also believing in them and giving them a chance. And we're here to be a voice, as usual, to try to help the ones that don't have a voice. So we're here on behalf of the Stanislaus Latino Chamber of Commerce, accepting this on behalf of all of you guys that are doing your stuff, that have been living it through all the years and bringing that positive light. So now it's time for all of us to bring it out to the forefront. So thank you guys all out there for everything that you guys do.
All right.
I just had a little speech, or nothing big like theirs. So I just want to say good evening, Mayor, Council, and members of the community. My name is Dolores Chacon. I want to honor the past, recognizing often unheard stories of Chicanos throughout California. What started as a hobby for some has evolved in a vast array of tradition deeply rooted in families celebrating our Chicano culture. Lowriding culture came in Modesto in the 1950s and 60s, being influenced by Southern California as well as San Jose. Lowrider culture developed amongst the Mexican-American communities as a form of culture, artistic expressions. We took pride in fixing up our cars and our bikes with friends, family, and forming core memories, further ingraining the lowrider culture in the community, social clubs, holiday, and special occasions. What once was banned an activity for 33 years was finally lifted, allowing multiple cultures and generations of lowrider families and friends to be able to once again openly celebrate the culture, being able to share with our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. This allows us to continue to pass down our lowrider legacy. We would like to thank the mayor, the city council, City of Modesto, Johnny Garcia, Hispanic Chamber of Congress, as well as Jerry Thompson and the police department. And that's just a few to name that were involved in this to make this happen, this holiday possible. We intend to continue to celebrate the lowrider holiday peacefully with ages that can come and enjoy the beauty that lies within our lowrider culture. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Are there any comment? Oh, go ahead.
I just got a couple words. I want to say good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Francisco Mireles. A few of you probably know me as Cheeto. I'm here today to speak about lowriding in Modesto and what it means to me personally and many others in the community. For me, lowriding is much more than much more than about the cars. It's about culture, family, community. Each car you see on the street isn't just metal, chrome, paint. It's a story. It represents hard work, pride, and a way of expressing who we are and where we come from. In Modesto, lowriding has been a tradition for decades. It connects generations, grandparents, parents, and now their children, passing down not just cars, but the values of respect, craftsmanship, and unity. When we come together for a cruise, a car show, it's not just about showing off your vehicle. We're celebrating heritage and bringing people together in a positive way. Lowriding gives our youth something to be proud of, something to belong to. It keeps culture alive and provides a safe space for creativity, friendship, and family bonding. In a time when division is easy to find, lowriding builds community. For me personally, lowriding has kept me grounded, connected. It's taught me patience, discipline, and a pride in what I can create with my own hands. It also gives me a family beyond blood, brothers and sisters and friends who support each other on and off of the streets. Modesto has a rich history of cars and cruising. It's the home of American graffiti. It's part of what makes the city unique and why people from all over recognize us. Supporting lowriding is about more than cars. It's about supporting culture, unity, and in a positive outlet for expression. And I just want to thank you guys on behalf of everybody for declaring this a lowrider holiday, and hope to see you guys Saturday at the event. And I also want to thank you guys for collaborating with us on making this event happen.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to say thank you to Jerry and Johnny. I remember not too long ago when you packed this room with all the members of the various car clubs for the purpose of repealing the cruise ban. And I thank you because you stated your case, you brought it to the council, you worked with the police chief in coming up with something that would be workable for, number one, public safety with the city, and number two, coming up with what would be acceptable to the chief on lifting this ban. And you did it in such a professional way that, yeah, we had a couple of people might have yelled at us, but overall, you invited us to your meetings. You called and met with the council, and you had brought your points to us to the point where after 7 months, I believe, Jerry, we ended up repealing that ban on cruising, and it was here we are tonight. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to congratulate you all on this momentous and inaugural accomplishment of having this holiday. I am looking forward to being there Saturday, dropping off. I don't have a lowrider car, but I have a classic car. And so, oh, that's a pretty good name for a ball team, too, huh? Classics. But anyway.
They're going to end up calling them the Nuts again.
But I grew up with a bunch of you that are out there in the audience, and you're quality people. You understand what it means to be a parent, to be a neighbor, to be a community leader, to be a community individual. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you to the Chamber for stepping up and helping and driving alongside this whole endeavor as well, Johnny. So thank you. And again, congratulations.
All right. Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. As my colleagues mentioned, I think, highlighting the fact that you all collectively lifted the ban, the cruising ban here in Modesto is a testament in and of itself. Chito, Jerry, Johnny, bringing everybody together, and also, amongst other car groups was a really good effort in terms of unifying around one cause, right? I think differing opinions at times. I know the frustration. I was in a lot of your guys' coffees and lunches, during the debates and whatnot, but ultimately you guys shared a vision and you made it happen. So you created a disposition in yourselves and in the Chicano community and the lowrider and car community on how to get things done. You were diplomatic. You all went out of your way to reach out to each of us as council members at separate times, which it takes away from your family time. It takes away from your personal time, your work time. But you guys created change through diplomacy. And that, I think, is a great disposition to take with you to the next issue and the next issue. Because how you guys did it, created change, it was a flawless execution. But during that time, there's a little bumps in the road, right? Differences of opinions and a little bit of frustration, but that's democracy. That is how you create good ideas, by getting folks around a table like you all did, getting different opinions, getting some debate, and of that friction came a solution, and that's how you did it. And I was with you guys from the second I got elected, even a little bit before. I've been part of the car. Johnny knows. We've been in several parades together and in the car scene since I was a kid. But I think you guys have demonstrated what consistency and persistence can do in a positive way. So a lot of you guys know, as I mentioned, I've been around the car scene forever. Some of the best memories I have is coming back from, I'm first generation college student, first in my family to attain an advanced degree. But whenever I came home, and even from high school, I would always have memories of working with my dad on cars. He has a 61 Impala with bubble top. My brother has a 63. You guys know the cars I have. And a lot of you bought those back there know the real Eric Alvarez, my father. I'm just a junior. But a lot of you guys know my dad from around the way. And so some of the fondest memories I have with him, even today, I take to my grave when I'm an old man, God willing, are around cars. He's a blue-collar working man. He's a stationary engineer at Kaiser here in Modesto. I'm not so much blue-collar, right? He's a labor guy. I'm not. He's a union man. I'm not. But we still bond over cars as a father and son. That, to me, transcends anything. And so when I look at you guys and I hear this story and I see the acknowledgments here, it's personal as much as it is community. And so that's why I love calling Modesto home, and I love calling you guys community members and colleagues in community. So appreciate all the work you do, and I'm here as a resource whenever you guys want to tap me. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I think the thing I really want to say about you guys and your commitment is just you went in and you got the cruising band done, but then you stayed on task and you want to continue to build this community and continue to build this culture in Modesto. And I think it's really admirable, and I really appreciate it. And I've been meeting with y'all, Cheeto and Dolores and Jerry, and I see Tina back there and Betty. I think Esther's back there. Mingo's hiding in the back. These are people it's a big group of people that are really committed to making this culture happen. And Johnny, I appreciate you kind of coming out and helping make sure this lowrider holiday really happens and getting the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce behind it. But I just think that it's a really bright vision of what the future of Modesto looks like, with so many good people working together to build this culture, and I appreciate it.
All right, Councilmember Studio Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. I dare not repeat everything that my colleagues have said perfectly, but I do agree with all the sentiments shared. Congratulations, lowrider community. And you all know what song I'm thinking in my head, and I can't get it out of my head, but congratulations in working alongside this council and making this day one for the entire community to enjoy and celebrate moving forward. Thank you for being here. Congrats.
All right, thank you for being here this evening, and I'll now bring the proclamation down and present it.
Mayor, can we call up the committee up with the picture?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
The picture?
Mayor David had a
I'm
comment.
sorry, I did not see his name. Councilmember Wright.
I'm going to make it short and sweet. Diddles.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who am I going to give this to? No, how about I give it to you? I need to be in between you guys here. Okay, you're in the middle. Here we go.
Somebody in the back? You might want to come in the front. Yep.
All right. A few more here. 19. Okay.
Skittles.
Not really. It's going to be a long meeting.
Okay, who's that?
Oh, geez. More characters.
All right. We are not done with our mascots tonight. Item 4, proclamation recognizing Stormwater Awareness Week, California Water Professionals Week, and Imagine a Day Without Water 2025 under One Water Modesto. And I will read the proclamation. Water is a vital, shared resource that sustains public health, economic vitality, and environmental sustainability and quality of life in the city of Modesto. The City of Modesto is committed to a one water approach, recognizing that all water has value, whether it comes from the sky, flows through our rivers, or is used and reused in our homes and businesses. Stormwater Awareness Week, observed September 22nd through 28th, highlights the importance of protecting our stormwater systems from pollution and encourages community engagement in preserving water quality in our rivers, creeks, and groundwater. California Water Professionals Appreciation Week, celebrated October 5th through the 11th, honors the dedicated individuals who plan, operate, maintain, and protect our water, wastewater, and stormwater systems, ensuring safe and reliable services for all. Imagine a Day Without Water, observed on October 16th, is a National Day of Education and advocacy that underscores the value of water infrastructure and the need for investment in resilient, equitable water systems. The City of Modesto's Utilities Department, through its One Water Modesto initiative, integrates water supply, wastewater, and stormwater management to ensure a sustainable and resilient water future for all residents. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim September 22nd through 28th, 2025, as Stormwater Awareness Week. October 5th through 11th is California Water Professionals Week, and October 16th, 2025 is Imagine a Day Without Water under the unified theme of One Water Modesto. I encourage all residences, businesses, and community partners to join in recognizing the importance of water in all its forms and the professionals who protect it every day. And receiving the award, the proclamation, is Nick Terpstra from Utilities Plant Operations Supervisor, with some very special guests that we would like for you to introduce tonight.
Yes, this evening we have...
And speak right into the microphone too, I know it's difficult.
So this evening we have Drip and Drop with us, and we also have Chloe, the Clean Water Duck, and Shelby the Turtle.
Okay, so Drip and Drop,
Chloe
and Shelby. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Nick Terpstra, and I'm honored to speak to you tonight on behalf of the dedicated men and women of the City of Modesto Utilities Department. First, I want to thank you, Mayor and Council, for taking the time to make this public proclamation in recognition of California Water Professionals Week, Stormwater Awareness Week, and Imagine a Day Without Water. Your support means a great deal to our department, and it shines a light on the often unseen but absolutely essential work being done to protect our city's water infrastructure and resources. The Utilities Department is proud to provide clean drinking water and sanitary sewer services to over 200,000 customers. Every drop that comes from a faucet, every flush that disappears without issue, is made possible by the hard work of utility professionals, the engineers, technicians, operators, inspectors, lab analysts, and support staff, who are all committed to public health and safety 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We like to say we provide a silent service. It's working best when no one notices it. But behind the scenes, our teams are constantly working. This isn't just about pipes and pumps. It's about people and the quality of life in our community. We are also proud to be innovators. In the face of historic drought conditions and climate uncertainty, our department is leading efforts in water recycling, conservation education, and long-term planning. From turf replacement programs to advanced water metering, every step we take is aimed at ensuring Modesto remains water resilient. That's why Imagine a Day Without Water is such an important national campaign. It challenges all of us to pause and consider what would happen if clean, safe water wasn't available. No water to drink, no water for hospitals, schools, or firefighters. No water for local businesses or agriculture. While it might sound like a hypothetical, for too many communities across our state and country, water insecurity is a very real threat. Here in California, we've seen towns where wells have gone dry or infrastructure has failed due to age or lack of investment. But thanks to strategic planning, investment, and strong leadership, Modesto is not one of those places. Through forward-thinking projects like groundwater recharge efforts, infrastructure upgrades, and regional partnerships, we are ensuring that these fears never become our reality. But we know our work is never done. That's why we like to live by the belief that conservation is a way of life. It's not just a slogan, it's a daily commitment to stewardship, sustainability, and smart planning. We are making decisions today that will help secure water for tomorrow. So again, thank you for recognizing our work. Your continued support enables us to serve this community with pride, professionalism, and purpose. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Do we have any comments from council members? Oh. I love the view. The
Yes.
smiles are incredible. So
Mayor?
Okay, Councilmember Wright.
I'll comment. Hey, I want to thank our stormwater and our Grayson plant, our
Jennings.
water treatment plant. We save water. Water treatment plant takes the water, converts it so that the west side farmers can use it to irrigate their crops. So that really saves water from coming out of the canals that we use for drinking. We're able to take water and recycle it and put it back into the ground and help make this a better place for us. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And I think to answer your question, if we didn't have clean water, we would not exist.
We would not.
So it's pretty important. Thank you very much for being here this evening, and I'll now bring the proclamation down and present it. I don't want to be in the way. I want you to be
Here. I'll go there. Yeah. No, there you go.
That was my purpose.
Okay. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, Jeff.
You ready? It's okay.
Wait. Hold it up. There we go.
Ready?
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Right, next is item 5. Consider accepting the resignation of Lupe Hodges from the Culture Commission. Does council have any questions of staff? Seeing none, I'll open this item up to the public. Any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 5? Seeing none, I'll close public comments. Any comments from council members? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank Lupe for her service to the city of Modesto.
All right. Nope. All right. I have a resolution accepting the resignation of Lupe Hodges from the Culture Commission. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Wright, second by Councilmember Alvarez. And will the clerk call the roll for this item, please?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky. Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Item 6, consider accepting the resignation of Melanie Webb and Melissa Burgess from the Blight Abatement Advisory Committee and vacating their positions. Does council have questions of staff? Seeing none, I'll open this item up to the public. Item 6. Any members of the public that would like to come forward? Seeing none, I'll close public comments. Any comments from council members regarding item 6? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank her for her service as well to the city of Modesto.
All right, resolution accepting the resignation of Melanie Webb and Melissa Burgess from the Blight Abatement Advisory Committee and vacating their positions. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Alvarez, second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky. Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is public comment. As noted on the agenda, public comment will only be in person. Zoom will still be available for viewing and wordly translation. Thank you all for being here tonight. The City of Modesto Council meetings are a place where everyone is encouraged to listen, share views, and participate in the decision-making process that benefits our community. Your engagement is valuable, and it helps our council and city staff collaborate on finding solutions that enhance the quality of life for the residents of Modesto. Okay. All right. It is the mayor's responsibility to preserve strict order and decorum at all council meetings. Pursuant to the charter of the City of Modesto, Article 6, the mayor, Section 601, Powers and Duties of Mayor. The mayor shall have the authority to preserve order at all council meetings and to remove or cause the removal of any person from any meeting if the council for disorderly conduct, to enforce the rules of the council, and to determine the order of business under the rules of the council. Accordingly, the City Council meeting decorum rules are as follows. Please be respectful of all presenters, council members, staff, and members of the public. Please refrain from clapping other than following a presentation. All speakers are encouraged to state their name and city of residence. All questions must be directed to the mayor. Please do not block the view of others by holding signs up during council meetings. Time limits for public comments is 3 minutes, but may be limited at the discretion of the mayor to manage the business of the council. Speaking over others or interrupting while others have the floor is not permitted. Cell phones should be turned off or set to vibrate during meetings. Thank you for your patience and participation as we work together to address the issues impacting the community. Maintaining order and decorum during the City Council meeting is crucial in the effective governance of Modesto and ensuring the Council's decisions are reflective of the community's priorities. Anyone disrupting the council meeting may be asked to leave. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to address the City Council is asked to follow the rules of decorum. The rules are posted at the entrance of the chambers. So I will read the names in the order that I received the cards or the notes. And so far I have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then one that is for an item that we'll save when it comes up on the agenda. So the first is Ryan Hall. Welcome.
Evening, council members. Just to introduce myself again, my name is Ryan Hall, and I am now the Communications Director of Cal Pride. As you all should be aware, the Committee Police Review Board finally consented to recommend that the city repeal the mask ordinance last week. It's no surprise that the City of Modesto hasn't agendized this item yet. Whether this is because of short notice or short-sightedness, any continued stalling won't discourage anyone. Our communities will continue to hold our city accountable. Consider this our form of consistency and persistence. No one should have to wait 7 months. It is genuinely disappointing that this has taken even 3 months of hand-waving to see any movement regarding an unworkable, unconstitutional ordinance that, as many of my peers have reminded you before, was requested, written, and passed within weeks. The city has relied on bureaucratic roadblocks to stall making decision regarding an ordinance that encourages viewpoint discrimination and allow MPD's deeply problematic guilty until proven innocent approach. The ACLU has suggested multiple times that the City of Modesto repeal or amend this ordinance without the formal recommendation of the CPRB. Now that you have the recommendation of the committee, the only remaining bureaucratic roadblock has been removed. The ball is in your court. We hope to see this ordinance agendized and repealed without further delay. I've said this before, but I believe that it's important to reiterate. This ordinance de-incentivizes collective action, silences marginalized communities, threatens our bodies, and ultimately denies us of our American right to free public assembly, speech, and press. No one should have to risk their identity, health, and physical safety in order to attend or report on a protest. Again, CalPride enjoys a relationship with the City of Modesto founded on respect, accountability, and hope for long-lasting change. I would also like to remind you all that CalPride is a diplomatic liaison and a bridge between community members and law enforcement, reaching out to and training crisis intervention teams and academy recruits. We are familiar with what you call the democratic process. If you'd like an email, I'll send it. If you'd like a meeting, I'll schedule one. Our community will not be discouraged by petty comments made at the expense of celebrating another marginalized community upholding Californian freedom, culture, and identity. I hope you extend this respect to your residents who participate in this democratic process, who by agendizing and repealing this ordinance as soon as possible, to properly protect the communities that will continue to stand up for what is right, as is our constitutional right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Harlan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Harlan Diven. I'm a resident of Modesto. I'm in District 3, and I'm a local attorney. I just have a few comments. This is my fourth time before City Council talking about the mask ordinance. I just have some quick comments. I was thinking about this and thinking about why this is so important. I have other places to be. Other people have other places to be. Why do we keep coming back about this one ordinance? And it's because both of the way it was implemented and that it's overbroad and vague to begin with. But it's really about the way it was implemented that brought it to everyone's attention. And we've talked about snatch and grab, ICE-style arrests, kidnapping-style arrests, very disturbing arrests to happen in Modesto. And I ask that we look into investigating exactly what happened on June 14th. That is separate from the mask issue. The mask issue is really about privacy and First Amendment rights. And as we know, the First Amendment does not intervene on its own. There is no enforcement mechanism there's no law enforcement for the First Amendment. It's us. We are the enforcement for the First Amendment through civic engagement, through the courts. That's how the First Amendment is enforced. The penal code is enforced by police. That's what we saw here. So what we're doing here is enforcing the First Amendment, trying to enforce the First Amendment before this issue goes to the courts. It doesn't have to. Sorry, excuse me. So we're here. You heard from community organizers, you heard from protesters, you heard from business owners, you've heard from lawyers, you've heard from teachers. Some of those people are one and the same. Some of those, I understand that you want to hear from the community, and I think that's vitally important here. One thing that came before the Community Police Review Board was the question of should they do a survey that would take time and labor and effort, and what I would posit is that the community is here. It has been here. For 4 months, we have been here making the same comments over and over. When I looked back at the minutes of the Community Police Review Board, I wanted to see who's the public in those meetings, because the last one was my first time being there. The comments were almost unanimous over and over for 4 months that this mask ban, this mask ordinance needs to go. So I don't know who we're waiting to hear from. I think the Community Police Review Board, you have seen the report that was given at the Community Police Review Board. It was thorough, it was thoughtful, and it was argued about and discussed at the Community Police Review Board at length. So I ask you to take the recommendations seriously. It's what we've been waiting for here, and put this on your agenda. I think City Council is more than ready to talk about this, and I invite you to do that openly with all of us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Teresa Gamboa. welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Zwallen. Good evening, council, city managers, city attorney, staff, and members of the public. My name is Teresa Gamboa, and I am chairwoman of Woodland West Community. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I wanted to share with you the results of our recent Family Fun Day at our neighborhood park. We had a really good time. We didn't have as many people as we had last year, but we had more kids, and we had lots of visitors. We had pizza, homemade cookies, water. No one went hungry. We had games, we had bubbles, we had music. It was fun. And we would like to thank MPD Crime Prevention Supervisor Charlene Aragon for arranging the park rangers chat and equine officer Luis Arroyo and his horse Lucas. They were big hits with the kids, especially one of our special needs kids who loved Lucas. I've never seen this little girl walk, but she saw the horse, and she walked to greet him, and she hugged him, and he was very patient with her, very gentle with her. It was a very touching moment. We also had the Woodland Avenue Fire Department, the Probation Department and their Canine Jetta, the Sheriff's Office with Canine Echo and his handler, Deputy Kyle, AMR Comfort Canine Daisy, who also loved Lucas, the Modesto CHP, and Councilman Chris Rickey and Jeremiah Williams. It meant a lot to us that you guys came. And we couldn't have had such a successful event without the support of you and all of these agencies. There are going to be a couple of informative meetings coming up in our neighborhood about the Mr. Car Wash project on October 2 at 6:30 p.m. at Wellspring Anglican Church, and another on October 4 at 10 a.m. at Huckleberry's Restaurant on Carpenter Road. This is for members of our community to voice their concerns about this project. We are not the organizers of this meeting. We are just getting the word out. Our next event will be a neighborhood watch meeting on Thursday, October 16 at 6 p.m. at Wellspring Anglican Church, and we hope that some of you will join us. And lastly, I would like to say that I support keeping the mask mandate in place. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Julissa.
Good afternoon. My name is Julissa, and I'm a part of the Central Valley Black Indigenous People of Color Coalition, CV BIPOC. For the past 3 months, we have consistently attended both City Council and CPRB meetings, yet there has still been no vote on the mask resolution. The Chief of Police and the Modesto Police Department have already demonstrated that this ordinance is outdated, dangerous, and discriminatory. The arrests that occurred 3 months ago were not about public safety. They were an abuse of power against community members of color exercising the right to free speech and expression. Although the charges were dropped, the harm continues. Community members are still dealing with financial burdens from fees, the loss of our megaphone, which we purchased ourselves, lost wages, and the lasting trauma of that day. It is worth mentioning again that 3 of the people that were arrested for an ordinance were unhoused young people at the time. Repealing the mask ordinance is necessary, and it should not end there. Some form of reparative action should also be taken for those directly impacted. You have heard from attorneys, you have heard from teachers, from the CPRB, and you have heard from community members. Listen to us. Listen to the recommendations of the CPRB. That is why this body was created and why you're all in office. We urge you to place this item on the City Council agenda and to repeal the mask ordinance without further delay.
Thank you. Next is Cameron Perez.
Hello, Mayor.
Hi there.
How's it going, City Council members? My name is Cameron Perez. I'm a third-year family medicine residency at the local VCME working at DMC. I do currently reside in Modesto as well. I am also representing CIR resident union members as well. So first for the typed out portion. A little more than a year ago, county decreased its presence in county clinics, notably the Paradise Road Clinic, where family medicine residents have been taught at for decades. Golden Valley Health Centers took over in its place, and since then, VCME decided to cut the number of resident doctors from 12 residents per year to 8. We are currently working through contract negotiations to improve workplace conditions such as no 24-hour shifts, increased time to recover between day and night shifts, and supporting our time with patients to be able to focus on their needs and our learning. Currently, VCME is offering uncompetitive pay compared to newer local residency programs, saying, in summary, they can't match because they are not authorized to do so. This lack of competition decreases the number of doctors likely to stay in the county. Current leadership claims they want outpatient doctors to stay here, but making no effort in their contract offerings to make it so residents want to stay. Stanislaus County has been a stakeholder in VCME for some time now. We're here to ask for your support in our contract efforts to help maintain and grow this long-standing residency program, which has been functioning since the 70s, educating many of the doctors working today in Stanislaus County. Our goal is to increase the number of doctors here and provide safe scheduling. And with a little bit left of my time, just to clarify some things, I was very thankful to be able to speak with you, Mayor, and also Councilmember Ricky. Really what we're hoping for is to get our voice heard on this matter. Kind of what was illustrated prior was that as residents, we are a captive workforce. You match here, you basically you rank as many residency programs as you can, but you are stuck where you're at for the time that you're there, and you don't really know what's happening until you start working here. So often our asks and requests go unheard because it's not very incentivized to do so, to really be heard. So that's where we kind of ask for your guys' voice to meet with some of the members of our residency to make it known that you see us as residents as valuable members to this community and future doctors, and we hope we can count on your support.
Thank you. Next is Mary Rogers.
Good evening. I'm a longtime resident of Modesto. I have 2 children, adult children who live here, and 2 granddaughters. I'm here because of the mask ordinance. I've attended all of the Community Police Review Board meetings, and I would like to respond to the task that you set before them, having to do with making a recommendation to your board regarding the ins and outs of and the merits or demerits of that ordinance. They presented a really concise, developed, researched report, and their recommendation was that the ordinance should be repealed. What I want to say tonight is this: a further survey of community input is not needed. We have been appearing and have been giving you our input since June. A further survey will delay a decision by your board. Delaying that decision promotes risk to community members who choose to exercise their freedom to dissent, their freedom to gather together, assemble, and their personal freedoms. It's not just the mask ordinance that I feel strongly against. It is the entire ordinance. There are many ways in which our personal rights are eviscerated in that ordinance. In the last Community Police Board meeting, Chief Gillespie asked that a survey be done. I do not believe it is necessary. The absence of opposition to this repeal, it's pronounced. There literally is very little, if any. I do remember that you gave the information that you were in favor of keeping it. And I appreciate some input from that side of things. The only other thing I'd like to say is that as a city, as a police department, Modesto has choices. We do not have to collaborate with and support the horrific ICE agenda that is widespread in our nation. We can choose to do otherwise. I watched a young man, I think he was still a boy, he was so young, at the June 14th meeting, be dragged to the ground. He was doing nothing. I was nearby. Handcuffed, dragged to a van, and thrown in by masked men with batons and helmets and no ID.
All right, so you've exceeded your time limit,
Thank
so
you.
please finish
I
your
appreciate
comments.
that.
Thank you. Thanks. Next is Steve.
It's funny because your tacky behavior this evening definitely pertains to what I'd like to share with you tonight. Mayor Sue, Mr. Manager, members of the council, the edifice of your pretend support for police accountability in Modesto has already begun to crumble. The more that you obfuscate, the more you show your hand. The more you privilege the needs of the few, the more neglected we feel. The more you protect killer cops, the more we worry for our lives and our loved ones. The more you disrespect your victims' families, the more you hurt the soul of this town. I myself entertained hope when I saw that you were creating a process by which we could all move forward together, as you put it. But it became obvious that the together and forward together really just meant you all working together to defend systemic violence. Then came the name calling, the assault you witnessed yourself in this very room, Sue. The defamation of my character, Nick, Eric, good evening. As retaliation for my giving a damn. The audible guffaws and the blatant insults toward impacted families. The nonstop victim blaming. The disgraceful behavior of every political cog, we're listening, right? In this room. Brandon continued to show his contempt by targeting the ICE out protest on June 14th. He then continued to add insult to injury through the loathsome and immoral rhetoric and flimsy logic by which he has tried for months to excuse his overreach. At this month's meeting of the Community Police Review Board, Brandon said the quiet part out loud. Although during Forward Together, Brandon expressly stated that he wants to police us the way we would like to be policed, he's proven this to be a lie through his actions, and now he has flat out told us, I quote the Modesto Bee, Gillespie said that if he'd known the board would have acted as a watchdog or advocacy group, he wouldn't have supported its creation. We've known for a while now that the CPRB is nothing better than controlled opposition. At least our beloved police chief has now finally admitted it to us all. That man even had the gall to invoke victims' families in his spiel about how he ought to be able to do whatever the hell he wants. But what about his victims' families? Mr. Manager, you have an opportunity to take a crucial step toward building trust, a thing I hear you all talk about an awful lot. All you need to do tonight is to agendize a re-examination of the Municipal Code 42302 for the next City Council meeting. Your status quo does not work for us. Will you add it to the agenda tonight, Mr. Manager? More silence and intimidating stares. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Next is Nora Garcia.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I, like many others here, attended last week's Modesto Community Police Review Board meeting and was very happy with the board's recommendation to remove the mask ban, banning face coverings during protests. I have some comments regarding Chief Gillespie's scolding of the board for the recommendation and accusations towards them for disregarding people who work and live downtown who may be worried about violence during these protests. I would like to share my experience as someone who both works and lives downtown for what it's worth, as I do not own any property. After speaking with many people outside of those who have spoken up in this chamber, I haven't heard anybody who was worried about June 14th escalating into violence, and several who think the arrests were ridiculous and unjustified. I can't speak for my neighbors, of course, but personally, I've experienced a greater hardship from the city in the form of citations due to proper parking, damage caused by city maintenance, and having our roadways blocked every time MPD decides to have a marathon than I've ever experienced from a peaceful demonstration. In fact, the only worrying part of June 14th for me as a resident of downtown Modesto was having an MPD officer shouting about removing face coverings as I was leaving home. It was an experience so inconsequential compared to the people who were arrested and injured, and yet I still think about that interaction with that officer who now knows where I live and worry about deciding to come up here every month. Despite the worry, I find it of utmost importance to speak as a resident of downtown Modesto when the community's safety is being used as an excuse to uphold an unconstitutional attack on our free expression. If the city council and manager agendize the matter as they should, safety will likely be a talking point during those discussions. Now, safety is not something that I personally take for granted, but I would like to say that tensions during future protests because of the city refuses to take action doesn't make downtown safer. Military-style police presence fueled by an overbloated police budget won't make downtown safer. And a police chief who cares more about imaginary property damage than those of us who live and work here certainly won't make downtown safer. I ask this council not to be fooled by these petty safety arguments and put the matter on the agenda to remove the mask ban as soon as possible. I thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Maria Hernandez.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Maria Hernandez, a lifelong Modesto resident, and I am the Business and Community Development Manager at our local development corporation, Community Development Corporation, Stanislaus Equity Partners. I'm just here today to share some information regarding an event for business owners, specifically in the 95351 zip code, West Modesto. So in partnership with Stanislaus County Workforce Development, we're inviting business owners specifically from the 95351 zip code, but any other business is definitely welcome to attend. We're going to have a meeting that's aimed to address shared priorities, workforce needs, and the necessary support required for business growth in our community. We believe that by coming together, we can create a more robust and resilient local economy, so business owner insight and participation are essential to this effort. So this free meeting will take place next Thursday, October 2nd at 5:30 p.m. at the community room at South Hall Federal Credit Union at 900 Crows Landing Road. And it's also going to be in Spanish as well for Spanish business owners. Again, my name is Maria Hernandez, and I'm with Stanislaus Equity Partners. So find us online for more information and also on social media.
Right, thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under public comment at this time? I think you already spoke.
Can I make a separate comment on a separate issue? No?
No,
Okay,
we
thank
just
you.
have one public comment period. Thank you. Anyone else at this time?
Good evening, Modesto City Council. I just wanted to start by saying that I was grateful to hear this City Council acknowledge Hispanic Heritage Month at the last meeting. It makes me feel seen, validated, and represented. I'd like to quote Councilmember Eric Alvarez from the last City Council meeting where he said, quote, "Anybody can call themselves Latino with 2%, right? But authentic Latino, authentic Chicano, authentic Mexican American is a whole different thing," end quote. With that being said, I'm coming up now to speak as an authentic Latino. And I just wanted to name a few famous authentic Latinos who I'm sure would be against the Modesto anti-mask ordinance, just as they were against the low-rider cruising ban. Number 1, Speedy Gonzalez. Number 2, Dora the Explorer. Number 3, Nacho Libre. Number 4, El Chavo del Ocho. And while he may not be an authentic Latino, let's not forget honorary Latino Goku, who has made major contributions to our shared culture. These brave people are just a few authentic Latinos that I know are on the side of justice. I know that if Speedy Gonzalez was threatened to be arrested by MPD for wearing a face covering while at a protest, he'd yell, "Ándale, arriba, arriba," before speeding off to safety. I know that if Dora was at a protest with a mask on and the police came up to arrest her, she would say, "Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping." And she would have been left alone, as the cops would only be able to say, "Oh, man." If Nacho Libre was at a protest, masked up like a true luchador, and about to be placed in cuffs, he would counter with a drop kick and a headlock before retreating to tag in his tag team partner, Esqueleto. But we can't all be like Speedy, Dora, and Nacho with the means to counter an authoritarian police force. We're more like El Chavo del Ocho, a poor child with no resources. And we'd get arrested for something small and inconsequential, and all we'd be able to say is, "Fue sin querer queriendo." Your behavior is disgraceful.
Good evening. My name is Laricana, and I am a concerned community member and resident of Modesto. I am here to diplomatically ask that City Manager Joe Lopez immediately add the unconstitutional mask ordinance, Modesto Municipal Code 4-23.02, subsection 13, to the City Council agenda for a discussion and vote for repeal, per the recommendation of the Community Police Review Board, which I know many of you have been waiting on, in addition to the recommendations from ACLU Northern California, the First Amendment Coalition, the NAACP Stanislaus Branch, the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Stanislaus County, and the many, many community members who have contacted you all and showed up at these meetings for the last 3 months. We are now on the 6th City Council meeting in which the urgent matter of repealing the mask ordinance has been brought to your attention, and it is disgraceful that you all can simply sit here and remain passive and complicit when our right to safely and peacefully protest has been threatened. Freedom of speech has long been a fundamental right championed across the political aisle, but it seems that when it comes to people of color, youth, unhoused people, and immigrants, our right to express ourselves and assemble in public spaces while protecting ourselves from surveillance, harassment, and state violence is perceived as an inconvenience unworthy of your acknowledgement or consideration. This is state repression and governmental negligence, and it must stop immediately. Our local context does not exist in a vacuum. Freedom of speech is being attacked at the federal level by authoritarian bureaucrats who demand that anyone who disagrees or shares a different opinion from them must be punished and silenced. In lockstep with the current authoritarian regime, this viewpoint discrimination manifested right here in Modesto on June 14th, when the Modesto Police Department targeted, assaulted, arrested, and detained for 12 hours 6 peaceful protesters, 3 who are unhoused youth, and 3 who are people of color at the Central Valley BIPOC Coalition's anti-deportation protest. Meanwhile, the predominantly white protesters at the No Kings demonstration, who also wore masks on that same day, were left unbothered. The chief of police confirmed the selective enforcement in his presentation to the Community Police Review Board in July. Your continued inaction, City Manager and City Council, speaks volumes about your regard, or rather disregard, for the safety of certain members of our community. This unconstitutional mask ordinance does not keep people safe. Instead, it has put a muzzle on our movement for justice. Municipal Code 4-23.02, subsection 13, is a form of profiling and a weapon of institutional bias that has been used to target vulnerable members of the public. And every day that this ordinance remains in place is another day that people with marginalized identities and perspectives are prevented from using our voices to speak out in support of our family, friends, and neighbors, who, may I remind you all, are still under threat from getting snatched up by ICE. Agendize and repeal the mask ordinance now, or you will further tarnish the reputation of the city, further compromise the integrity of this council, and further erode the trust of the people in the government. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I actually prepared a speech this time. So often people like to say the definition, but Ben Franklin is often attributed with the definition of insanity, which many of you know. Insanity being doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I personally feel like I am going insane coming back over and over to city council meetings and police review board meetings over the mask mandate. I understand bureaucracy can be very slow, and attending all these meetings have shown me that all of this is controlled opposition and funneling our frustration through the meat grinder of government inaction and unaccountability. Allowing the mask mandate in place allows the police to weaponize the mandate and target some of the most vulnerable in society, which has already been proven at the No Kings rally, and them specifically targeting those people of color and those unhoused. Furthermore, the board created the Police Oversight Action Committee, and they unanimously voted to voice approval for removing the mask mandate. If this city council supposedly represents its constituents, as we have voted for them to do so, repealing the mask mandate is the bare minimum. Doing so would show the city council acts on the wishes of its people, and they are beholden to them, and not an overloaded, gun-toting, fascist institution bent on disenfranchising and gaining power through force, which has been shown to represent the interests of not only ICE, but the overblown federal government and their, let's be really clear, racist agenda. So please vote to repeal the mask mandate. Doing so, other than that, shows you do not have our interests at heart. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. My name is Madison Condit. So now that the CPRB has made their recommendation regarding the mask ordinance, I hope you are all ready to make your decisions. I really hope that you're not once again swayed by the bias of a cop. While community members that have been showing up week after week and a board of members who have dedicated their valuable time looking into this issue have made the obvious decision, our police chief still stands on his opinion that he should be able to arrest Modesto residents for choosing to hide their identity in a volatile political climate. Why would Brandon want this ordinance to stay? Well, he claims it's for the safety of other residents, business owners, and property owners. We can all be honest as a community and realize it has to do with power. Looks like after today, MPD will be getting a new armored vehicle worth up to $500,000. That might seem like a lot of money until you look at their annual budget. I don't think that MPD needs an ordinance about mask wearing to feel secure in their power. Brandon implied at the most recent CPRB meeting that the board wasn't taking into account the opinions of all community members. My understanding is that the CPRB meetings are open to everyone in the community, but I never saw anybody there nor here at the city council meetings speak out in support of the mask ordinance, not even Teresa. The fact of the matter is that Brandon didn't like the decision that the CPRB made, and he was saying anything he could to try to reestablish his control over the situation. You as a council supported the CPRB to help keep the police accountable to their community. I think you'd all agree they do a great job, the best that they can, with the little power you have given them as a board. Now that you as the council have what you wanted, the recommendation from the CPRB, you should be completely ready to vote on this at the very next city council meeting on October 14th. We're demanding that City Manager Joseph Lopez put a vote for a repeal of the mask ordinance on the agenda for the October 14th meeting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else at this time?
Good evening, City Council. My name is Anne Marie. I am a resident of Modesto. I have come back yet again to demand the repeal of Municipal Code 4.23-02, Section 13, to be added to the next meeting's agenda. It may be sounding redundant at this point, but if you're sick of hearing from us, we're sick of having to show up and repeat ourselves. Now that the CPRB has officially recommended that this section of the code be repealed to the city manager, I hope that you will take that into account. This code, the reason we keep showing up, the reason it's important is because it is a violation of our First Amendment rights. We've said this over and over again. It gives the police another excuse to criminalize our community members, and we see that with how it was weaponized against community members at the Ice Out protest on June 14th. People who did nothing wrong were violently arrested. There is video evidence and witness testimony of this, by the way. Those who were detained are still affected to this day, financially, emotionally. There's already a law in place that criminalizes people for wearing a mask when committing a crime. The municipal code only adds that it is a violation to wear a mask at a protest. So is attending a protest and protecting your identity the equivalent of a crime? Is that what the city wants to insinuate? There's no reason for it to have taken this long to at least put it on the agenda. The original municipal code was passed in just a few weeks. If it's on the agenda, it can at least be discussed if more community members can give their input, if that's what you want. Although we have already given you plenty of input over the last 6 city council meetings. We're not just, the people who are here advocating for the removal of this code are not just angry, like naive leftists wanting to make a fuss for no reason. We have lives, we have jobs. We don't want to keep coming back and saying the same things over and over again. And we are emotional, we are angry, and I hope you don't discount that because we are angry. This is affecting us, it's affecting our community members. It is our lives, it is our bodies, it is our rights that are at stake. And we are repeating ourselves over and over again, and it feels like you're just glazing over, like not, I don't know. Are you hearing us? Repeal this municipal code, put it on the agenda for next meeting. We will be back. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
I've never done this before. My name is Suzanne Gonzalez-Biban, and I'm a resident of Modesto. And I just want to support the repeal of the mask ordinance by not speaking as eloquently as everybody else, but just sharing an observation. I've been to multiple protests. I won't tell you how many. Most of them with white people and very little interaction with the police. The one protest that I went to, the Ice Out, it was so obvious the difference with the way the police interacted with protesters. So it is, to me, as a Modesto resident, so obviously racial that I really think this mask ordinance needs to be repealed. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else at this time under public comment for items not on the agenda?
Mayor, City Council, I'll be real brief. Just want to let you know this Saturday, September 27th, will be Lowrider Holiday, the history of the cultural event. I don't call it an event, really. I call it an exhibit, because on exhibit will be the fine artworks of all the lowrider cars, but also the cultural aspect of it with folklorial dancing, mariachi, and Aztec dancers too, along with artwork from the local community artists that will be on display too. So we like to hope and like for you all, and hopefully you can make it and experience this cultural moment, because it's not only about the lowriders, it's about the Latino cultural history of it too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where is it?
All right. All right, next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone in the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? Seeing none, is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion? I do have a request for item 19 to be removed from consent. Thank you. Will this, oh, sorry. Oh, Kevin?
I also wanted 19 removed and also item 14 for questions. Thank you.
All right. All right. Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Item 7, consider approving the minutes for the September 9th, 2025 council meeting. Item 8, consider declaring specified city-owned properties as exempt surplus land, directing the city manager or his designee to negotiate the conveyance of such properties in accordance with the Surplus Land Act. Item 9, consider approving a First Amendment to the agreements with Bender Rosenthal Incorporated, Thompson & Thompson Real Estate Valuation and Consulting Incorporated, and Holberg & Associates DBA Valbridge Property Advisors for commercial and residential real estate appraisal services, increasing the agreement amount by $17,000 each. Item 10 will be a separate vote. Item 11, consider approving Section 26 National Standards for the Physical Inspection of Real Estate to the Housing and Urban Development Policies and Procedures Manual.
Excuse me, for clarification, was it item 10 or item 14?
Item 10 is going to be, because of the conflict, Mayor.
Recusal.
Excuse me, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Item 12, consider approving the First Amendment to an agreement with Management Advisory Services out of Auburn, California for on-call planning, consultation, and support, increasing the agreement by $76,000. Item 13, consider approving the increase of a purchase order by $1,535. With Park Planet of Red Bluff, California for the purchase and delivery of a sensory wall for the Awesome Spot Playground at Bayer Community Park for a revised total amount not to exceed $173,935. Item 14 was removed from consent. Item 15, consider approving the fiscal year 2024-2025 write-offs and adjustments reports through fiscal year end June 30th, 2025 in the total amount of $459,603. Item 16, consider approving a report detailed city personal property sold, donated, or disposed of during fiscal year 2024-2025. Item 17, consider accepting an informational report on the May and June 2025 grant applications and awards. Item 18, consider accepting an informational report for the July 2025 accounts payable payment register and void report. And item 19 was removed from consent.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as read?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Bavaro, seconded by Councilmember Alvarez, and will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, so that carries 7-0. So next, we will go back to item 10. All right, it's okay? All right. Consider approving a First Amendment and reinstatement of the letter of intent between the United Soccer League, LLC, and the City of Modesto to extend an exclusive negotiating period to March 10th, 2026.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Wright. Do I have a second by Councilmember Scutia-Brayton? Will the clerk, I have a resolution approving a First Amendment and reinstatement of the letter of intent between the United Soccer League, LLC, and the City of Modesto, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the amendment and reinstate the letter. I have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Carries 6-0.
With one recusal.
Recusal. Excuse me. Next is item 14, consider approving a report on fiscal year 2024-25 unclaimed funds of $24,060 that can be transferred to the general fund. I'm sorry, Jeremiah, I should have waited for you to be back. All right, we will have a staff report on this item.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Deanna Christensen, Director of Finance.
So this item is an annual item that we bring forward to council. These amounts represent checks that we have issued, could be to a vendor, could be to a customer, and if the check is not cashed within the date that's specified on the check, there's a process that finance will go through to ensure if there's any update of information that we can find in our billing system. We will attempt to reissue the check if we do identify any updated address information. But after we've made every attempt, we will then hold the check as required by the state for 3 years. We coordinate and share that information with the state, as well as they advertise it through the state controller's office. And then after that 3-year period, we make one final attempt, and we report these unclaimed funds through our local newspaper, through the Modesto Bee. We advertise it for a 2-week period. We then have a 45-day waiting period. And if still no claims are made, then we would proceed with this action of bringing forward to council to account for these unclaimed funds and transfer them to the general fund. And this year, the amount was $24,060. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for your report. Does council have any questions of staff regarding item 14? Seeing none, I'll open this up to the public. Any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding this item?
Actually, she answered my questions.
All right, thank you very much. I will close public comments. Are there any comments from council members? Seeing none, I have a resolution approving fiscal year 2024-25 unclaimed funds of $24,060 held in the city's trust fund for more than 3 years and authorizing the transfer to the general fund. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by council member Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez. Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Next is item 19. Consider approving the purchase of one fleet addition for one armored vehicle for the Modesto Police Department in a total amount not to exceed $526,154. And we will have a staff report.
So this item is requesting the purchase of one armored vehicle for our police department. Currently, the police department has one existing armored vehicle that was purchased back in 2003. So the current vehicles is a little over 22 years old. There are current safety concerns, as well as just very outdated technology, as well as other components that, again, are not accessible in the current vehicle. This item was approved as part of the fiscal year 25-26 budget. It was presented by the police department as an enhancement utilizing Measure H funds. Of the amount, $400,000 was identified from Measure H funds, and the remaining difference is being funded through additional funding that's available through the police department, referred to as the Supplemental Law Enforcement SLESIV Fund, which is referred to as SLESIV. We did identify a cooperative agreement to address all of the bidding requirements. And then the last thing I just want to mention is the actual quote amount that's captured as part of this purchase. The value is $425,730. This is being purchased out of state, so we will still be required to pay both the local tax as well as the state tax here in California, which is what increases the amount for about $36,564. And then there is a 15% change order contingency that's captured in case there's other potential fees that are captured outside of what's captured in the quote. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you for your report. Are there any questions from staff, from council members regarding item 19? Seeing no questions, are there any members of the public that would like to speak regarding this item? I have one blue card from Julissa.
Hello again. I want to speak in opposition to the proposal to purchase an armored vehicle for Modesto Police utilizing Measure H funds. Almost $500,000 for a militarized vehicle is not an investment in public safety. It's an investment in intimidation. Communities of color in Modesto already experience policing that feels hostile, excessive, and discriminatory. Adding an armored vehicle only deepens mistrust and fear. From my understanding, Measure H is general tax dollars, and the city has mentioned what these funds could be used for, including fire protection, paramedic emergency response, addressing houselessness, cleaning up trash, maintenance of streets, sidewalks, and parks. Our community is facing housing insecurity, and reinvesting that $500,000 in housing assistance, mental health services, or resources for our unhoused neighbors would be better, in my opinion. Those are the kinds of investments that actually make our city safer instead of further militarization, and an armored vehicle sends the opposite message. I do want to share what I see right here. 2024 to 2025 amended budget for the Modesto Police Department. Grand total was $104,983,858. The proposed budget for 2025 to 2026 was $107,054,714. And the projected budget for 2026 to 2027 is $115,312,941. And I'm in favor of redistributing those funds to community. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other members of the public that would like to speak regarding item 19? Welcome.
Kevin McClarty, District 1. So, we've heard a lot about numbers. This whole discussion with respect to this armored vehicle has been oriented toward numbers. But I want to change the discussion slightly. I want to talk about the vehicle itself. I'd like to know what the purpose of it is in a town like Modesto. I mean, this is not Berkeley. This is not, I think of Berkeley because I remember the riots in the 60s in Berkeley, and that's kind of like where the riots started was in Berkeley, and it was kind of a hub of riots, and I don't know. I'd like to know what the projected usage of the vehicle is and what is the need for the vehicle. What is the need? What is the projected usage of the vehicle? Is this going to be a vehicle in which all of the officers are going to be huddled inside of it, and then they're going to be going down the middle of the street while the riots are going on, while protests are going on, not riots, but protests are going on? Is it going to be dispensing tear gas toward protesters as it's going down the street? Well, what is it going to be doing? I'd really like to know actually what the vehicle is going to be doing. Is it going to have guns on top of it? Is it going to be, is it going to have the potential that, not that it's going to be doing it, but will it have the potential that it could be shooting at people from inside the safety of the vehicle? I don't know. I just want to know what is this all about? So I'm asking a deeper question. I'm not just asking a question about money. I'm asking a question as to, what are we doing here? And this is on the same evening, the very same evening that the council is kicking the mask issue down the road. On that very same evening, purchasing a $500,000 armored vehicle. So you got to look at the optics of that. How does that look to the public? And I find it rather amazing that not one council member is asking these deeper questions. What do we need this for? What are we going to use it for? And the ultimate question, is this vehicle going to be used to protect citizens, or is it going to be used against citizens? The police motto is to protect and to serve. Is this going to be to protect and to serve, or is it going to be for something else? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hello again. I'm here in opposition of the armored police vehicle. If police is supposed to be, and I'm using air quotations here, sorry, I didn't practice that at all, to be apparent, if the community is spending our community funds on an armored vehicle, military-level hardware puts the police above the community. A standing, weaponized, and occupying army to a degree. If we really care about community safety, research after research has proven investing in community support, aid, outreach, addressing such things as the unhoused, and more important community issues better deals with community safety as opposed to tools of oppression such as an armored vehicle. A well-funded community, a community wanting or needing for nothing, is a community that, again, has been countlessly researched and proven commits less crime and one more in touch and caring about each other and its citizens. Purchasing an armored vehicle, which I do understand it is decades out of date, but voting on approving an armored vehicle on the same day of trying to repeal a mask mandate that has been years out of touch and has been shown that the police will weaponize against its own citizens shows that the police will once again use and weaponize an armored vehicle against its own citizens, which has been shown across.
You're welcome. I really should have had Chief Gillespie approach the podium during the staff report to discuss the potential situations where this would be helpful in our community. So,
I appreciate that, Mayor and City Council. Brandon Gillespie, your police chief, and I'll go over a couple things. And Director Christensen already talked about some of this, and this has been mentioned. But this armored vehicle was acquired in 2003, and it's exceeded its operational lifespan. Over the past 2 decades, the Modesto Police Department's armored vehicle has played a critical role in preserving life and enhancing the safety during high-risk incidents. It's been deployed in active shooter incidents, barricaded subject calls, and other life-threatening emergency, and has directly contributed to the safe resolutions of these events. And I would point out that most recently in early August, when we had a officer-involved shooting after there was a residence that was shot at in South Modesto, that armored vehicle was used to safely take the potentially armed suspect into custody. And so it continues to be used to protect our community, and very proud of what we do with our tools, especially our armored vehicle. The vehicle's features are outdated and present operational challenges. Examples are the current round portholes limit officers' ability to use less lethal tools, and our modern firearms equipped with lights and optics aren't conducive to the round portal openings on the side of the vehicle. There's a turret on top that has a single plate, which offers minimal flexibility and leaves our officers unnecessarily exposed. It also has a vehicle air conditioning system, which has been repaired many times over the years and currently is non-functional. And you can imagine in long SWAT standoffs, which is primarily what this vehicle is used for, when we have very dangerous situations in our community. The passenger area can get very hot in there for our officers, potentially impacting the officer safety and our wellness and effectiveness during prolonged operations. So the new vehicle that's being proposed here tonight has a 360-degree protection, which significantly reduces the risk to our officers. It also provides enhanced storage capability and capacity. Right now, just because 20 years ago they didn't, the ergonomics of the vehicle, we have to actually strap equipment to the top of the vehicle, which isn't ideal. It also has additional upgraded features, air conditioning system. It's 4-wheel drive for improved maintenance for off-road and other areas we need to get to, a modern PA system for effective communication, and has other things like USB charging ports to support communication equipment, some of our electronics, and other things like that. So we are asking for the City Council to approve this tonight, and I would submit to you that it absolutely protects our community and is used to protect the community members in our community. Thank you.
thank you. Any other, appreciate that report. Any other members of the public that would like to speak regarding item 19?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm in support of this vehicle. Anybody who's had the vehicle come out and explore it can see that it badly needs to be replaced and repaired, and it does protect our law enforcement officers, and it does protect our community. Anybody who's having their house shot at is going to want that vehicle between them and the shooter. And so I think that it is vitally important, and it's one of the reasons that I supported and voted for Measure H. We need this vehicle. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other members of the public regarding item 19? All right. Okay.
I support this. I think it's, I don't think people realize that these vehicles are used even in bank robberies, because sometimes there's hostage situations, and I don't know if citizens want to storm these bank robbers when they are holding people hostages. The police have to, because that's their duty. So I think this is a safer way of utilizing vehicles like this to assist in helping these hostages to get out of these situations. Just like they mentioned about shootings in the neighborhoods of hostages situations in the homes. So these vehicles do have purposes, I feel, and maybe some consider them thinking they're military vehicles, but I think they could be utilized in other means that people don't consider or have taken the time to realize they also help save lives. So I would highly recommend using it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, City Council, once again. The reasons given for this fleet armored vehicle being needed, they don't seem it doesn't seem necessary to me. All of the reasons given seems mostly that the one that exists just needs upgrades, and all of the things that this vehicle does, why can't it be done with the resources that the police already have? They already have a budget of like over $100 million per year. Like, are those weapons not enough to, protect the community? All of the and then some of the reasons given were like potential hypothetical situations where the police are like being shot at, or there's like a bank robbery, and it doesn't seem like it's these are all based off of like hypothetical situations. It doesn't seem like it actually would protect or even prevent, things like active shooter situations. And this disregard, we're valuing these hypothetical situations over the very real police violence that people in our communities have been affected by. Like these hypothetical situations of dangerous citizens that law enforcement and other citizens need to be protected by take more weight than the very real police violence and lives that have been lost at the hands of our police force. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't think this vehicle is necessary. The $500,000 could be used for things that would much better benefit our community members, like for housing, for resources that need to be made available. I don't consent to my tax dollars being used for this purpose. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other members of the public regarding item 19? All right. I will close public comments. Any council member comments? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Yes, Mayor, I'll be supporting this item tonight.
All right. Any other comments from council members? I will also be supporting this. I can't even imagine what it would be like to respond to an active shooter situation without protection. So I will be supporting this. Councilmember Ricky.
I'm also going to be supporting this. We've got, I just saw a video just the other day of them trying to use the old vehicle responding to an incident on the freeway. And so it's important that we have the right equipment for the right jobs. And I don't think this corresponds to the issues we're having with masks on any level. I don't think that there's a connection there. Officer safety is important, public safety is important, and when you have a piece of equipment that's required for running the department, you need to do it.
All right, Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. I also be supporting this item. I think at one point in time, City of Modesto, growing up, I remember being in high school and an MJC student, and Modesto was known for car theft and drugs and meth and whatever. Very negative public relations in terms of how others throughout the region, throughout the state, throughout the country, throughout the world view our city. As of August, major property crime is down 21%. These are some Modesto Police Department August crime stats, a little snapshot. Auto theft is down 43%. Commercial burglary is down 43% again. Residential burglary is down 10%. The numbers are in a positive direction. We've come a long way, and I think because we've been intentional about investing into the public safety, we've seen positive results. And I would agree with my colleague, Councilmember Ricky. This is totally separate from the mask ordinance. I'm going to continue to support public safety efforts because I am raising a family here. I own a home here, and I don't want to be in a Modesto that was in a negative view to the rest of the world back in mid-2000s, early 2000s. Modesto in 2025 is a safer place statistically. So I'm going to continue to support these sort of efforts and be supportive of item 19. Thank you.
All right. I have a resolution approving the competitive bidding process from State of Iowa to Linco Armored Vehicles, Pittsfield, Maine, for the purchase of one armored vehicle for an amount not to exceed $425,730, plus $36,564 in taxes and fees to be paid directly to the state, and authorizing the Director of Finance or her designee to issue the purchase order, and authorizing the Director of Finance or her designee to execute any change orders not to exceed 15% of the total purchase price. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Escutia-Brayton, second by Councilmember Wright. And will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez. Councilmember Ricky. Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwalin.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Thank you. Next on the agenda is council comments and reports. We'll take a break, 5-minute break, 7:38. We will return. All right. All right, next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Do any council members have comments and reports? Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be brief. I just want to mention a couple of community events that have happened and are going to be occurring in the next few days. So on Friday, myself and Councilmember Rosa Escutia-Brayton, Vice Mayor Bavaro, we were attending the El Concilio Honors and Tributes Gala here across the street at the Doubletree. And there were several awards that went out to community members and stakeholders. And it was a really good event, well attended, sold out, and it's always nice to attend El Concilio's annual awards and tributes event. And upcoming this Friday on the 26th from 6 to 9, the West Modesto Community Collaborative is hosting a similar event. It's called Strength and Unity Gala, and all proceeds from this black tie event are going to be going to their wellness center. The wellness center for the West Modesto Community Collaborative offers free mental health counseling and support for members of the community, the West Side community, free of charge. And so those are a couple of things I wanted to mention, Mayor, and that's it. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. For the last couple of years, I've been promoting the idea and advocating for a warehouse-style market like Easter Market in Washington, D.C., or like Findlay Market in Cincinnati. And there's now an opportunity at the old courthouse site. And the city is having a meeting on Wednesday, that's tomorrow at 5 p.m. At Greens. And they're going to be discussing the future of that site. So if the warehouse market idea is something that appeals to you, or if you have ideas about what you want to see happen at the old courthouse site, come on down to Greens and talk about the different concepts and hopefully push the idea of having a market be a part of it. I also want to talk a little bit more about Stanislaus Animal Services. By now, many of us are aware of the issues that we're having at Animal Services. One of the problems that I'm having with Stanislaus Animal Services is that they won't share what they're currently spending on veterinarians. I've asked them, I've emailed, I've talked to them at their meetings, they just won't tell me. And I don't know why I don't know what they're hiding. I don't know why they won't tell me, but it's unacceptable, and we need transparency and better services for our animals in our county. And finally, I'm excited about the Lowrider Holiday coming up in downtown Modesto on the 27th. Come on down there, bring the kids. They're going to have lucha wrestling, mariachi, Aztec dancers, hop cars. The State Theater is showing Lowrider for free. They're going to have artwork. There's going to be a Lowrider history booth. It's going to be awesome. So come on down. It's in downtown Modesto, and enjoy our amazing lowrider culture. Thanks, Mayor.
All right. Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. It's hard to believe that we haven't gotten together since before 9/11, but that indeed is the case. And I was honored to accompany the mayor and council members Bavaro and Williams in attending Station 1's commemoration for the 9/11 event. It was a very somber remembrance of the men and women who passed during that tragic day. But it was a lovely way in many ways for our city to come together and honor those individuals and maintain their memory alive. Also, I attended along with both Councilmember Williams and Wright the Modesto Garden Club's Blue Star Memorial Marker Dedication Ceremony. And this was a lovely event that brought together family and community and Blue Star mothers to recognize those men and women who have died for us in the armed forces, and unveiled a dedication marker that resides in one of the hangars at the airport in Modesto. So it was a lovely event. I was honored to be part of it. But in addition to multiple events that we all attend, those were just a couple. I've been meeting with, I'm the immediate past president for the Central Valley Division for the California League of Cities. As such, we get together to plan and coordinate a variety of shared priorities that our cities have throughout Central Valley. And this is a agency, an association that not only invites electeds to be part of that conversation, but it invites city managers to be part of that conversation. It invites city clerks to be part of that conversation. It invites city attorneys to be part of that conversation. So it really amplifies our voice as a Central Valley, as one community, because what happens in one city, one municipality, impacts another one. So in essence, that this organization, it works under the premise that as one city, we do little, but together as a region, we do much and accomplish much. So we will be having our general membership meeting this Thursday. We'll be implementing new bylaws and electing new officers, but again, continuing that one voice for all of Central Valley so that both Sacramento and Washington, D.C. knows about us, knows about the immensity of what Central Valley does and the value we contribute not only to our state, but to our nation. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's wonderful that my colleagues do so much in the community. There are so many great things about our community. Also, Saturday night, the Boys and Girls State delegates took place over at the Veterans Center, and it was put on by the American Legion Post 74. This is their, I think, 80th year that they've done this. It's a great opportunity for the young people. They have a young person from each school in our area, out of the 9 high schools, which they are selected to go to Sacramento and become either a judge or assemblyman or a congressman or a city councilman or person or female. It's a great opportunity for them to do that, and we were able to give them certificates. My colleagues here were able to give them certificates on behalf of the mayor and the city council, and so it was privileged to be there to give that to them. Also, with the American Legion Post 74, there is every year a Citizen of the Year and a Hero of the Year, Community Hero, and January the 10th, the Citizen of the Year will be none other than Ann Inslee. So I want to congratulate Ann Inslee for her contributions to the city of Modesto. And our community hero is going to be none other than former city council member Brad Hahn. So we're excited about those individuals who are going to be receiving these designations, these certificates, these awards, these accolades on January the 10th at the Veterans Center, 3500 Coffee Road. Other than that, thank you very much, Mayor.
All right. Any other comments? I'll share a few things, and I do this to illustrate how much there's really going on in our community that's really impressive. So I did meet with Roy Stevens and Emily Gallagher, the new Director of Development for Opera Modesto. And if you're not aware, we are one of the few cities in the United States of America that has our own opera, ballet, and symphony. So the arts are alive and well, and they're very professional, and I'm proud to announce that every time I have the opportunity. I attended the Creating Hope and Opportunity Apprentice Training Program, as well as several other members of our council. It is a joint apprenticeship training center, and we had a tour and a delightful evening to hear stories of hope and opportunity for very good paying jobs for members of our community. I had the opportunity to hear from Dr. Nate Monroe. He's the chair of public policy for Tony Coelho Endowment at UC Merced. And what he does for the students that take his course is train them to be prepared to be legislative aides for people in decision makers in Sacramento, and doing such things as writing letters, writing certificates like in these proclamations that we do. I thought, I need to take his course. I should have done that before I was mayor, but nonetheless, I learned it on the job. So it's incredibly impressive, and the primary focus of this course is that the students learn to listen and to truly understand both sides of every issue, so that when they are preparing these documents, they really grasp and understand what they're writing about. We had an employee appreciation lunch and wellness fair where everyone in the City of Modesto staff was invited, and that was really great to just listen to everyone, talk to everyone, and get some insight into the work that happens in our community from our Modesto City staff. I spoke with the leadership class at Enox High School, about 125 students. My main message was that this role is community service. That's what it is in my mind. That's true leadership. We had a press event for the Pioneer League to have baseball continue at John Thurman Field. I was able to speak at a Seroptimus meeting to give an update on what's going on in our community. And just today, did a tour of the Aim Higher Day program for special needs people in our community, and it was so impressive. It's a program where they choose what activities they want to do and participate in each day. It was brilliant. They were cheerful. Everybody was having a great time, and I was really appreciative for that opportunity. So from there, does the city manager have any comments and reports? All right. On we go to item 20. Consider approving the plans and specifications for the 9th Street Corridor Improvement Project. Accept the bid and awarding a contract to United Pavement Maintenance Incorporated of Houston, California for a total amount not to exceed $14,699,812. Approving an agreement with TRC Engineers Incorporated of Lathrop, California for construction management services, inspections, and materials testing services for a total amount not to exceed $1,089,968. And we will have a staff report.
Good evening, Mayor Zwallen, members of the City Council, Toby Wells, Director of Engineering Services, and your City Engineer. Tonight, we're excited to present information on the 9th Street Corridor project. This project is a long time coming. Just for a little background, Council may recall back in 2020, pre-COVID, it feels like a long, long time ago, we were awarded a grant from AHSC, which is a greenhouse gas emissions reduction grant for housing, transportation, agricultural practices. This grant allowed us to move forward with the significant improvements on 9th Street. As you can see with the numbers there, $14.2 million was for the Archway Commons project, which is completed. And then we provided $6 million for this project we'll discuss this evening, as well as some additional Measure L funds to complete it. This leveraged those local funds to receive over almost $25 million. So a great use of funds leveraging to improve our community. So as I mentioned, the Archway Commons project has been completed. There were 2 phases. The first unit was 76 units, 74 units in phase 2, completed, open, and occupied. That development then was partnered with our project to be able to complete the infrastructure required as part of the grant requirements. So those improvements is what we'll discuss on 9th Street. So you can see this relative to the existing conditions today along 9th Street, the former state highway that is now being repurposed to serve really the urban needs for our community with the improvements of the roadway as well as bike path. So this project starts at Carpenter, goes to L Street, so changes there at the Carpenter and 9th Street intersection for safety to ensure a better connectivity for pedestrians and bicyclists, as well as improve the connectivity there with Briggsmore, and this will ultimately be built into the Briggsmore interchange. It's a separate project we'll be bringing to you in the future. So as the project moves from north to south, this is in front of the Archway Commons, improved area for a bus stop to allow for pedestrian movements, and you can see the bike path there on the lower portion of the screen. Project also incorporates 3 significant changes along the corridor. So roundabouts, replacing a signal at Carver, at Tully, and then at the intersection of Needham, and I'll show you each of those 3 locations. So this is the Carver location with the roundabout. This is a single lane roundabout, and obviously one of the challenges with 9th Street is the skew, i.e. that the roadway intersections don't hit at 90 degrees. Hence, roundabouts become a very logical solution because it helps with those offsetting angles what the signalized intersections deal with today. At the existing Coldwell Woodland intersection, that intersection, for the most part, stays intact. Especially, I see members in the audience on the northeast corner there from the American Graffiti Museum. Those improvements they just recently installed will stay intact. We will make improvements on the other side, but it mostly remains as is today. As you move south, I mentioned the second roundabout, which is there at Tully. Similar configuration. And then the last roundabout in the project is at Needham. This is a facilitation to allow for the future connection to the Virginia corridor, which is shown there. That would be part of a separate project, but that roundabout provides for the pedestrian and bicycle connection to Virginia corridor as it would cross the intersection of 9th Street to the west side of the westerly and south side of 9th Street. So this is the cross-section as it moves into the downtown area. Important to note the project, its size and complexity is set up in 2 phases. So the work north of Needham, so Needham to Carpenter, would be the first phase of construction. That would happen first. Once that is completed, they would move into the second phase. So we wouldn't expect this to start until that second phase is started. And then the last piece, as it ties in at L Street, this is the connectivity, and you may note that this location is where the roadway of L and 9th Street changes from city jurisdiction to Caltrans jurisdiction, hence the ending point for the project at this location. So the bid results, so we opened these bids. Our engineer's estimate was $11.2 million. As you can see there, the bids did come in a bit higher than our engineer's estimate. But in analyzing the results of those bids, we did determine them to be very good bids and a very competitive process, that there's no advantage to us rebidding or redesigning the project, and we do recommend moving forward with the apparent low bidder, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder of United Pavement Maintenance at the bid of $13.3 million. So the funding, as I mentioned, the HSC grant, our current Measure L allocation, and then the additional Measure L. This is local Measure L funds for the project for the total funding that includes the construction management contingency, as well as any assessed, design costs through construction. And so if all was moved forward and awarded, the project would start near the end of this year, at the end of 2025. It would take approximately a year, completed early 2027. And as I mentioned, with the 2 phases of the project, the south of Needham portion wouldn't expect to start until late summer of 2026. And so the 3 resolutions that you have in front of you are the approving the plans and specifications to award the project to United Pavement Maintenance, then approving the resolution for the agreement with TRC, which is the TRC, which is the construction management, provide construction inspection during the construction of the project, and lastly, amending the budget to allocate those funds to fully fund the project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Does council have any questions of staff? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Refresh my memory. I know that during one of our committee meetings, you answered this, but I don't remember. The question is, the engineering costs were 19% lower than the lowest bid. Why was that? Was there anything we missed, or is it materials went up? Or?
So the engineer's estimate, and so again, when we do an engineer's estimate, we're looking at the latest information that we had, and we're looking generally backwards. We're looking at bids that we've opened previously and going off of what the bid environment looks like at the time of the bid. In this particular case, we've looked at the results of the bid, and where we see that our numbers were lower than what the bids came in was primarily in some of the steel items. So it does appear that there's potentially some impact on reliability and the potential cost increases of those. So typically what a builder will do is protect themselves for future increases related to those costs. So that's what we believe. Part of those, and just the overall bid environment looks to be very competitive. So those 2 factors appear to have influenced the bids the most.
Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Toby, for your presentation. A couple of questions on Tully and then Carver, where Ward's office furniture is. Are we taking any of their property?
No, it's all within existing right-of-way.
Okay, and then Carver?
Same, all within existing right-of-way.
So at this point, we're not taking any other part. Okay, the other one is the medium, or somewhat of a medium. Are those telephone or those electric lines going to stay, or are they going to go underground?
Those aren't electric lines. Those
Okay.
down the middle are, I believe they're AT&T, but they're not electric.
Okay.
I do believe they'll stay in place.
They
But
will stay in place?
I believe so.
Will they still be in the alignment with all of the design for the streets?
They will stay out of the roadway, correct.
Okay. And then I also noticed on between Carver and Tully, it was 2 lanes. Now it's going to be down to 1 lane?
Correct. In
And
each
so
direction.
with the roundabout, we feel as though that the flow is going to be consistent enough to where the 2 lanes won't be necessary. But I do see that there's 2 lanes in between Needham and L.
Correct. It's, in essence, Needham to L is a 5-lane facility, 2 lanes in each direction with a center turn lane. That stays in place. From Needham north, what roundabouts do in terms of their efficiency, moves the traffic a little more efficiently, that allows that capacity to be handled with the 2-lane facility. We have analyzed that, and it does meet today's needs as well as our future growth within the community.
Okay. And lastly, on the shoulder, I guess that would be the west side of the street, that whole shoulder to the railroad track. How much of that are we taking any of that property? Are we fencing that property?
There's no fencing there, but that's all. The only work is within the city's right of way. So again,
So there won't be any kind of guard or anything like that?
Not
It'll
as
just
far.
be
There will be landscaping on that edge, but
landscaping.
we will stay within
We'll
the
do a
city's
tree
right of way.
line or something?
There are trees
Okay.
and that type of information, but not a fence on that location.
Okay, I stayed up all night to ask these questions. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, Councilmember Ricky?
Thanks, Mayor. One question that I have is, Modesto has a problem with a lot of car accidents these days. Can you talk to me about how the new designs and the roundabouts are going to impact accidents in Modesto?
Yeah, so traffic safety is obviously a significant concern for this community as well as council and staff. And what the nation is seeing is a significant reduction in serious and fatal accidents at intersections that are controlled by a roundabout. So the national data, from the Federal Highway Administration shows that if you replace a signal with a roundabout, the reduction in serious and fatal accidents is 78%. If you replace a stop sign with a roundabout, it's at 80%. And that's not just here, that's everywhere. In addition, the recent Safe Streets for All activity that our Public Works team is leading has shown that within our city, roundabout locations reduce those same serious and fatal accidents 4 to 6 times. So it's a significant improvement in safety within our community. Now, I'll be clear, it doesn't reduce accidents. There are still accidents. The difference, generally speaking, roundabout accidents people walk away from. Someone that runs through a stop sign, an impaired driver that runs through a red light, results are typically catastrophic. So the significant decrease in serious and fatal accidents is really what the roundabouts are intended to do.
That's excellent information, and I'd love it if you could send any stats you have from the Safe Streets initiative to my office.
We can get that to you.
My only question again is what happens at Briggsmore and 9th Street?
So the median there will block if you're coming westerly on Carpenter. You would not be able to make that left turn. So westerly or southerly, whichever orientation. The movement that you would make is you would just continue west. You would make a right on Collegiate, and you would go underneath the overpass and come up on Fire Science. So you basically just make a little loop, and you come up on Briggsmore, and you make a right-hand turn, a protected movement, right-hand turn onto Carpenter. So that movement is a little longer, but it's in essence a free movement as you come around.
Okay, so there will be no connection from Briggsmore to 9th Street there once this is
From west
going
correct. So
westerly.
not crossing. So anybody who's
Okay.
driven that area recognizes that that area often gets blocked by trucks. It often has accidents in that location. It's a very difficult movement to make. This will significantly improve the safety of that area.
But we will still be able to go from 9th Street
East.
north
Yeah, north and east.
and east
Correct.
to get on Highway 99.
Correct.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, Councilmember Williams.
So one more, and that is the business park in between Tully and Codewell. Will there be an opportunity for that business park now that it's one lane instead of two to cross over, to go to, okay, so, because it's not on here, but it's
Yes.
going to happen.
So one of the things that changes within that segment you just mentioned is today you have 2 lanes that are separated by a dirt median, and that dirt median really is impassable. I mean, people do it, but it is depressed. If it's in the winter, there's water standing in it. But with this design, you have the ability for folks to cross and directly into the traffic along that segment you just mentioned. So it will increase the business access along that segment.
Okay, and final question. Going from Carpenter, Briggsmore Carpenter, going toward, or going to Codewell, where the train is there a backup lane there that's separate from your right-of-way lane? Because when that train is there, it's hard to turn into, and so it's a buildup.
What's the, I'm not
Coldwell?
following what location?
Where
So
the,
Woodland and Coldwell are east-west, 9th Street going north-south.
Going toward Carpenter on 9th Street, Coldwell, which turns into Woodland.
Right.
So is there a backup lane there? How far is that? Because it's a single lane.
So are you talking a backup lane on 9th Street?
On
Or-
9th Street, because to turn to go onto Woodland, you're coming
The
from.
turn lane is what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah, the turn lane is designed so that there will be sufficient capacity for those instances when the
So
train does
20 cars, because I mean, it really backs
I
up.
don't have the specific distance on the top of my
Okay.
head, but
All right.
yeah, we recognize that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, any other questions regarding item 20? Seeing none at this time, I will open this up to the public. Any members of the public regarding this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? I'm really excited to see this happen. I think that it will be another area that will provide beautification as well as safety features. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for your work on this effort. So we have 3 resolutions and we can do 1 vote. A resolution approving the plans and specifications for the 9th Street Corridor Improvement Project, accepting the bid and awarding a contract to United Pavement Maintenance Incorporated of Houston, California in the amount of $13,363,465 and authorizing change orders up to the cumulative amount of $1,336,347 for a total agreement amount not to exceed $14,699,812 and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the contract. A resolution approving an agreement with TRC Engineers Incorporated of Lathrop, California, for construction management and inspection services for the 9th Street Corridor Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $990,880 plus $99,088 for additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $1,089,968 and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. A resolution amending the fiscal year 2025-26 annual operating and capital improvement project fund budgets to increase the revenue, expenditures, and transfers for project number 101295 in the amount of $6,500,000 to appropriate the additional funds for the 9th Street Corridor Improvement Project and authorizing the city manager to take the necessary steps to implement the provisions of this resolution. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Ricky, second by Councilmember Alvarez. And will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright. Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Thank you. Next on the agenda is hearings. Item 21. Hearing to approve the City of Modesto's consolidated annual performance evaluation report for program year 2024-2025. And we will have a staff report.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wait, excuse me, I didn't read all that. No, yes, I did. The rest is in parentheses. Your go.
Great. Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Jessica Hill, Director of Community and Economic Development. So for a little bit of background, the City of Modesto is an entitlement community, and we receive 3 sources of funding from HUD each year: the Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnerships Program funding, and Emergency Solutions grants. When ARPA funding and CARES funding came down, the city also received Home ARP grant as well. So the purpose of this funding is to serve low-income persons and households and develop viable communities by providing decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expand economic opportunities. And as a criteria of actually receiving this funding, the City of Modesto has to complete a report every year called the CAPER, or the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, which outlines how we utilized the funds this last year. So for this last year, the city received $6.1 million. We did expend $4.6 million of that, including $1.2 in CDBG and $3.2 million in the Home ARP grant program. As part of our CDBG funds, we offer public services to assist with local nonprofits to do different sorts of community benefit items for our community. So we awarded 6 organizations for a total award of $226,000 in total, and from that funding, we were able to serve 593 individuals. So our emergency solutions grants, which helps assist our homeless services, we were able to award 4 grants to 4 different nonprofit organizations for a total amount of $136,000. They expended $127,000 of that and were able to serve 874 individuals. For some of our larger projects, we did provide funding in the amount of $350,000 to help with the design of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park. That was able to be leveraged in the amount of over $16 million, and then, as you guys are well aware, the pending start of construction next month. Next up is Jenny's Place, and so very excited to have completed this project this last year. The city allocated $3.4 million to this project. We were able to leverage just over $19.3 million for 54 new units of affordable housing, 16 for homeless, general homeless population, 37 for youth, and 1 manager unit. As part of our funding, we do also offer a homeowner rehabilitation program for health and safety repairs. And so we were able to assist 13 households, and we're able to award just under $400,000. And so some repairs included energy efficient windows, HVAC replacement, roof repairs, and ADA accessibility. So this funding also helps support our Camp to Home program, which moves a homeless individual from the street into permanent housing. And with that, we partnered with the Center for Human Services and used street outreach. They were able to contact 108 youth and expend a little over $29,000. And then our own chat team over the course of the year had just under 6,000 contacts. Moving on to our shelter component, we did partner with the Salvation Army and the Women's Haven. We awarded $79,000 cumulatively. With that, the Salvation Army were able to assist 786 unique individuals and the Haven Center 106. Moving on to our job training and housing. So we were able to support our job training program through the CDBG Public Services funding. Of that, they were able to have 31 members employed and were able to provide 441 job workshops. And then Turning Point Community Programs, they were assisting with the housing component. So they were awarded $25,000 and were able to leverage just under $300,000 as well. So as part of our citizen participation process, we actually went out to the community to provide our report. We did go to our neighborhood meetings in West Modesto and also presented at our local CSOC and our Stanislaus Homeless Alliance. And then tonight, we're before you for the City Council hearing. So with that, any comments received up to this point would be included into the report. If approved tonight, we would ensure it was submitted to HUD by the deadline on September 30th. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you for your report. Does council have any questions of staff regarding item 21? Seeing none, I'll now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Jeremiah Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's outstanding that the city is spending the money the way it is to make a difference for all citizens. They're doing a great job.
Thank you. Councilmember Ricky.
I concur. I really appreciate the effort that the city's doing, and Jessica and her team have really put these funds to great use, and they're making a difference every day in our community.
All right. Thank you. I have a resolution approving the City of Modesto's consolidated annual performance evaluation report for program year 2024-25 and authorizing the city manager or his designee is hereby authorized to sign any required certifications and documents for submittal to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion
Second.
by Councilmember Williams, second by Councilmember Scudia Brayton. And will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright? Aye. Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen?
Aye, carries unanimously. Next is item 22. Consider approving the plans and specifications for River Trunk Realignment Pump Station Project, accepting the bid and awarding a construction contract to Shimmick Construction Company Incorporated of Irvine, California, in the amount of $115,560,000, authorizing 10% in contingency if needed, for a total payment amount not to exceed $127,116,000, approving an agreement with West Yost Associates for construction management services in the amount of $8,500,000 plus $850,000 in additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $9,350,000, approving an agreement with Corolla Engineers for engineering support during construction in the amount of $5,675,000 plus $567,500 in additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $6,242,500, approving the issuance of wastewater revenue bonds, Series 2025, in a not to exceed aggregate principal amount of $60 million to finance the construction of the River Trunk Realignment Pump Station construction project and amending the fiscal year 2025-26 capital improvement project program budget in the amount of $132,560,000 for a total anticipated construction cost of $143,900,000. And we will have a staff report. That is a lot.
You did a good job, Mayor.
A lot of money and a lot of work.
It's amazing you did that in one breath, Mayor. That's pretty good. All right. Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm Will Wong, Director of Utilities. Tonight, co-presenting with me will be Deanna Christensen, Director of Finance, to go over the financing for this incredible project that we're about to undertake. So a little bit of the background of this project. So our wastewater collection system master plan identified the River Trunk Realignment Project as a priority project for the City of Modesto. The reason is there were hydraulic deficiencies as well as condition issues with the pipe. In fact, we've had several collapses of the pipeline due to the age of pipe. The River Trunk is a 5-mile long pipeline spanning from the Beard Industrial Tract to our Sutter treatment plant. 24% of the city's flow, including Beard Industrial Tract, as well as East Modesto and future Tivoli, will end up flowing through the River Trunk. Due to the magnitude of this project was actually separated into 3 sub-projects. The project that we'll be awarding tonight, or recommending to award tonight, is the River Trunk Pump Station Project, project number 1. Project number 2 is the River Trunk Gravity System, which has been completed, and River Trunk Shackelford, project number 3, is finishing construction as we speak. The picture for you kind of highlights the project itself. To the left in the blue line is the gravity portion of the project, which I mentioned has been completed. The yellow project in the middle is the Shackelford Pump Station project. That takes care of South Modesto, and that's how we deliver sewage from South Modesto into our treatment plant. And the project here tonight will be the project in red, which includes the pump station as well as a replacement pipe underneath the Beard Brook. This picture highlights the complexity and magnitude of this project. As you can see, this will be a 90-foot deep pump station, one of the deepest pump stations on the West Coast. This, again, will convey 24% of our city's flow to our treatment plant. So So regarding the bid, so we did advertise the bid at the end of April of this year. The bid opening was July 1st, which we received 4 bids. Shimmick Construction was the lowest responsible bidder, and we are recommending that we award this project to Shimmick Construction, which is about 9% above our engineer's estimate. Along with the award of the project, we are also recommending that we award a contract for the engineer of record, Corolla Engineers, who will provide engineering services during construction. Total cost of that would be about $5.7 million, with additional services will not exceed $6.2 million. And again, because of the size of the magnitude of the project, we're also recommending construction management services with West Coast Associates for a cost of $8.5 million, with additional services not to exceed $9.35 million. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Deanna to talk about the financing of this amazing project.
Thank you.
So again, the magnitude of this project, we are unable to solely fund through the wastewater reserves. So as part of the recent rate study that was approved back in 2021, we did incorporate it as part of the capital projects and the required funding sources. There was anticipation that a potential $60 million bond would be incorporated as part of, again, the current rates that currently have been approved, as well as, again, the debt cost associated with that funding sources. So again, I just want to emphasize that that was captured in the approved rate study that was approved back in 2021. So we have been working closely with the financing team that we've developed in coordination with our municipal advisors, PFM, our bond counsel, Norton Rose, as well as the underwriter, to again gather all the information that's required to be able to issue the bond issuance. And the recommendation that's being forward is to utilize a fixed rate revenue bond that would be secured by our utility revenues. And again, this is kind of the standard bond structure that would be incorporated, such as for these large utility infrastructure projects. So as part of the financing process, as I mentioned, we have been working very closely with the financing team. As part of this agenda packet, there is a very large preliminary official statement that's being captured that again gives the overview of the project, the overall financing, and the financial health of the wastewater fund. The next steps would be, if this moves forward, is we will go through a credit rating review to establish the pricing for these bonds, as well as establish the interest rate. And once all that's completed, we will publicize that through the public bond EMA site, so all that information is disclosed both to the public as well as to the investors. So under the fiscal impact, this captures the overview of the cost for the project. As Will mentioned, the first 2 lines captures the construction contract that we're recommending to award to Shimmick Construction, as well as a 10% contingency. We are recommending that there is a contract management services that would be recommended with West Coast for the $8.5 million, in addition to including 10% of contingency, and then the engineering support related to Corolla Engineering that's being factored for the overall project amount of the $143.9 million. The other thing I do want to capture is the associated cost of issuance for the bond issuance. So again, we are anticipating the interest rate for these bonds will range between 5 to 5%. The annual debt cost associated with this debt issuance would range about the $3.5 million. And then again, we are anticipating that even with the debt issuance, we will still meet all of the required financial policies, which is to ensure that we maintain a debt coverage above the 2.0, as well as managing our operating reserves of 25%. And the cost of issuance related to the services that are being provided by the financing team will be about a little under $500,000 that would be covered through the bond issuance. And with that said, I will not repeat all of the actions that are being recommended. And between Will and I, we are more than happy to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you for your presentation. Does council have any questions? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Have you considered, instead of a revenue bond, considered maybe a general obligation bond? It would seem to me maybe the revenue bond might be a little more riskier.
Well, for, again, most of the utility infrastructure projects, revenue bonds are standard because, again, you had pledged the utility revenues. If we did attempt to utilize a GO bond or a general obligation, that would be something that would be required to be voted by the voters. And then again, it requires a certain percentage in order for it to meet that requirement.
Thank you.
No problem.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. This question is for Will. Again, thank you all for that presentation, quite extensive. So on the River Trunk pump station, that's pretty close to the 7th Street Bridge, yes?
Yes, it's directly east of the 7th Street Bridge.
And so will that be a conflict down the road?
That's a very good question. So as you well know, the county does have the 7th Street project out to bid. Our hope is that due to the site size, we can actually stage most of our material on site to do construction. I think along with the construction of 7th Street and as well as the canneries trying to bring the tomato trucks in, it will be a little interesting in terms of traffic, but to the extent possible, we're going to try to accommodate the canneries the best of our ability and not to do any construction work within the public right-of-way during the summer.
So when do you propose, if this, obviously when this is approved, to start that project or to continue to work on that project?
Very good question too. So if the council do award the project tonight, we anticipate construction to probably begin late fall and maybe starting in January. We have a lot of documentation and a lot of coordination with the contractor after that.
And so how long do you think that would take to get past that point on the bridge side?
We'd have to kind of see what they're doing on the 7th Street Bridge and take and coordinate. But again, we do think that we have enough room on site to store a lot of the material. We'll just have delivery trucks and construction all will remain on site. They're not going to do any work, major work in the public right away.
So it's safe to say there's going to be a lot of detour signs.
Yes.
Okay.
Due to a lot of different projects. Yes.
Any other questions from council members regarding this item? Seeing none, I will now open this up to the public. Any members of the public regarding this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Councilmember Ricky.
So I've talked about my concerns about this project. We're spending $135 million on this project, and unfortunately, while it's important and we have to do it, I feel like it leaves out a lot of really important priorities for our sewers and for our whole system. We've got huge amounts of pockets in our cities that are just not, in our city that's just not being addressed. And if we're putting out a bond of this magnitude, it seems really, it just shows a lack of vision to me that we're not considering some of these major problems that we've been suffering, from decades, and we don't even attempt to address any of that in this. So those are my comments. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Seeing none, I will support this project wholeheartedly. I think these are basic services that the residents expect, and without them, we would have a whole lot more problems. So I am in complete support of this. I have 5 resolutions, and we have to vote separately on all 5. First, a resolution approving the plans and specifications for the River Trunk realignment pump station project, accepting the bid and awarding a construction contract to Shimmick Construction Company Incorporated of Irvine, California, in the amount of $115,560,000, authorizing the Director of Engineering Services to approve change orders up to the cumulative amount of $11,556,010, 10% of the original contract price, for a total amount not to exceed $127,116,000, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for this resolution?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky? Vice Mayor Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. Passes 6-1. I have a resolution approving an agreement with West Yost Associates of Davis, California for construction management services for the River Trunk Realignment Pump Station Project in an amount not to exceed $8,500,000 for the identified scope of services plus $850,000 for additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $9,350,000 and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Councilmember Escutia-Brayton, second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky? No. Vice Mayor Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. Carries 6-1. A resolution approving an agreement with Carollo Engineers Incorporated of Walnut Creek, California for engineering support during construction for the River Trunk Realignment Pump Station Project in an amount not to exceed $5,675,000. I'm not saying that right. Is that right? $5,675,000 for the identified scope of services plus $567,500 for additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $6,242,500 and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Williams.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Escutia-Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky? Vice Mayor Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. Passes 6-1. Resolution amending the fiscal year 2025-26 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $132,560,000 to be transferred into the project from wastewater reserves to fully fund the construction, contingency, construction administration, and design support during construction for the River Trunk Realignment Pump Station Project and authorizing the city manager or his designee to implement the provisions of this resolution. Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilmember Wright, second by me. And will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky? No. Vice Mayor Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. Carries 6-1. A resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $60 million principal amount of wastewater reserve revenue bonds, Series 2025, authorizing and directing execution of a sixth supplemental wastewater revenue bond indenture pursuant to which such bonds are issued, approving a bond purchase agreement, an official statement, and a continuing disclosure agreement, and authorizing other official actions to execute the bond issuance. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Williams,
Second.
second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky? No. Vice Mayor Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. Carries 6-1. All right. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I am calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.